Hi guys, what's going on? It's Phil from Waypoint Digital, and thank you guys very much for joining me in this week's episode. This is actually going to be a really quick episode because I'm switching some of the topics that I originally had planned for this week, and the reason for that was a certain topic actually popped up over the course of Labor Day weekend, more specifically yesterday. And for everyone out there, happy Labor Day. Happy Labor Day weekend. And the topic that I wanted to talk about is going to be something in regards to not financial advice and no seat theories or travel log or anything like that. I hope everyone had a good time with their family, but I'm just going to get right into the video. So the topic that I wanted to talk about is alternative sources of income outside of the scope of, say, cryptocurrencies, and or stocks. And in this instance, what I'm going to be talking about are probably the two main alternative sources. And the one that I'm going to be talking about is YouTube. And the other one I'm going to be talking about is Twitch. And this is actually an article that I just pulled up earlier today. But I think it made a lot more sense to be able to kind of talk about these things, considering that this is kind of a growing segment for potential career paths that some people are taking. And whether you're younger or someone who's, someone my age that's going to be hitting their 40s pretty soon, is it a great way or something to explore as an opportunity to live off of? So full disclosure, obviously for Waypoint Digital, I'm looking to be able to monetize this channel, and on top of that, it's not the main uh, objective of what I do. It's just one of the things that I enjoy doing. But with that, I also am setting goals to be able to monetize this channel at some point in time. On top of that, I have not been able to monetize this channel yet, which is quite understandable. It's still in its early phases, and because I took over the channel this year, it's gone over some changes over that course of time, and it's continued to evolve. But let's get to the subject at hand. So the first one that I want to talk about is YouTube. And this discussion actually came up numerous times, or has continued to come up in kind of family settings or conversations with friends. But it was important to kind of talk about it a little bit further because, again, it's kind of a strange way to possibly make some income, but also be able to express different activities that we like doing that might be outside of the scope of work. So that's part of the reason why, like I said, that I do Waypoint Digital, because these are topics that I either do personally or topics that I am interested in. And a prime example is that I do this YouTube video and talk about things like investing and traveling and some seed theories that might relate to something like not financial advice or could impact things like traveling. So I want to talk about YouTube first. And YouTube has this program, this partners program, that enables you to potentially generate revenue from the producing YouTube videos. So I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the common names that are out there, like Logan Paul, PewDiePie, and things like that. Those types of characters who have really, hit a very high level of success, along with a large audience that they provide their content to, and they have expanded their influence as well as their marketing capabilities across different platforms and whatnot. But one of the things that I wanted to point out, or topics that I wanted to point out, is that anyone can essentially do the YouTube, the YouTube Partner Program, and a lot of it really has to deal with, setting up a routine, setting goals, and then on top of that, reading the analytics and then providing content that your audience or new audience want to watch. So So, for instance, there are requirements that someone has to fulfill to be able to generate income from the website, and there's no one size fits all. Obviously, there are certain aspects that will attract a larger audience group. But one of the suggestions that a lot of the longtime YouTubers have suggested is always to pick topics that you want to talk about or do videos about, so that it's easier to just kind of do the videos, um, you know, and post it out there so that other people can see. So one of the requirements that YouTube has, and I'm going to zoom this puppy in like so. You need to have 1,000 subscribers. And I made a mistake yesterday when I was talking to family members and friends, that I said that you needed 1,000 hours a month, and it's actually 4,000 public watch hours in the last 12 months. So it's not as demanding as what I originally thought it was. So that's actually a really good thing. But to get to that 4,000 valid public views is actually pretty tough. And I can say that right now, I'm slowly climbing up in those hours watched. But I can tell you right now, it's you do have to analyze a lot of the data that's provided directly from YouTube, and then you got to optimize. At least for me, that I'm always optimizing my channel to be able to do that. And one of the ways to really optimize it first is to just develop a routine that you can follow through. And obviously, I do my best to be able to stick with a routine that I can follow. And then I typically plan out weeks in advance about topics that I'm going to describe. Unfortunately, certain situations might prevent me from doing that. For instance, I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I did have a pretty big project that I was getting through the next phase, and that really took up a lot of time, or I should say, several projects that were taking up a lot of time, a lot of troubleshooting, and sometimes I just didn't come up with a lot of solutions right away. However, now that that phase is done, and kind of in the swing of things, and of course it's a holiday weekend, so I did spend time yesterday, like I said, with the family. Um, I'm back on the grind, and somehow it returned back to Monday. So I apologize for that. But getting back to the YouTube partner program, it's worth taking a gander, or at least just looking at this and deciding for yourself if it's something that you want to do as a potential source of revenue. Now, with that in mind, with something like YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, etc., there's no guarantee that, one, the channel will grow, and then two, you're actually going to get viewers, or even generate revenue. It's really going to come down to what the audience wants, and that's really kind of just really summing up, what the channels require, at least from my perspective, as a smaller channel, and as it continues to evolve, and I put topics out there that people are going to be interested in watching. It's not an easy process to go through, and even more difficult for people that are older. Now, I follow a lot of YouTubers that are roughly my age, or maybe just a little bit younger, and typically deals with topics that I'm interested in, like investing, um, you know, programming, as well as traveling, and virtual reality. So a lot of these people that I followed, or I've followed for a number of years, and I've seen a lot of these channels grow into what they are today. And some of the people actually live off YouTube. Others are still in that process of growing their channels, and that's one of the key aspects I think that people uh, forget about sometimes, that there is kind of the dream that people are going to be successful right away, and it's really just more of a grind that you have to go through the process, but you really have to enjoy the process of making content and continuously producing content, which is a big factor in being able to generate audience, because the audience is relying on the creator to continuously produce in regular intervals. And the demand for content itself, at least for someone like me who does consume, YouTube content, TikTok content, not so much Twitch. It's we're always kind of anticipating that the creator is providing content on a regular interval, and if they don't kind of meet that demand, you start to wonder whether or not they've completely stopped. And I have followed YouTubers that do that, but I still do watch some of their older videos if there's a certain topic that I want to kind of research or whatever. But yeah, I'm not going to go through reading, what the requirements are for starting a YouTube channel. But the main point is that there is a considerable amount of effort and focus that needs to be placed in regards to starting, putting content out there and then being committed to it, whether or not someone is generating an audience to do it. And one of the benefits that I find from doing something like producing videos, and for me, one of my goals was actually to improve my ability to speak better cadence, improving my voice and quality. And those types of aspects are important in the process, and then it's something that I've found that I really make a concerted effort to improve that. Considering that I do stutter a lot, I say and all that kind of things. That's been a normal complaint in my previous life, where people talked about I have had issues with being able to speak with a lot better manner, and I believe that practicing with YouTube or doing live shows has really kind of benefited my ability to be able to do that. And on top of because it's a speaking, because it is a speaking, at least for my videos, is a speaking portion of it, and I do script a portion of some of the topics, or at least I outline it. There are moments where I will add certain items that might not have originally been in the script itself. So something to keep in mind. But another part that I want to talk about is Twitch itself. So Twitch, and I was actually educated by my niece who is actively pursuing making her live streams on Twitch a potential method of generating revenue. Now, she has experience doing acting and singing and performance on the stage. So she actually has a very good stage presence, or a great presence on the screen right away. And her TikTok channel actually had one or two videos that actually went viral. And it's important to understand, even at that perspective, where I'm learning from my niece, who's much younger than I am. Obviously, she's showing me and telling me about all the different aspects that she does to help improve the experience that her audience can receive by watching her content. And one of those is that she's creating all the artwork, the icons, the background, et cetera, herself. And she's really put the production, she's put the full production, on top of her shoulders to be able to make content. And she's not only is she a creative person and she's being able to display that, but on top of that, she's producing it, she's planning it, and then and she's going to school full time, and and also, recording these videos. So there are so Twitch actually has a different monetization uh, requirements compared to YouTube. So they have different types of pieces to it. So for instance, for YouTube, you have subscribers. In Twitch, you have subscribers and followers, and the minimal requirement is actually pretty low as far as being able to generate to generate some revenue from that. And she has had some success where people did did donate as well as um, potentially getting more advertising. But there are consistent followers that she has who enjoy watching her, you know, do her live streams for games that she plays, and she plays a lot of different games. But again, on top of that, she's also she's also going to be going to school. She starts this week because it's Labor Day weekend, and then school starts up again. And then on top of the other hobbies that she has, so it's an all encompassing project to take on, and the potential out there to be able to generate revenue comes from the amount of effort and focus, that someone has, you know that you know if you're an artist, I feel like we live in a society today that artists really have the opportunity to express their art to the world, to an audience. And like I said, whether or not someone is going to dedicate time to watch someone, it's really going to be dependent on the artists themselves, and then also how the audience interprets, whether a piece of content is going to be for them. So hopefully, like I said, if you are watching this and you're enjoying this, make sure to like and subscribe. Now, another key aspect that's kind of related to video games and in the kind of alternative methods of generating revenue or income is entering video game tournaments. And I happened to stumble upon a tournament of Oculus Quest game that I play called Blast On, which is really fun if you ever get a chance. This is not sponsored in any way. This is just talking about an experience that I had, and I totally missed the deadline for entering into the tournament itself. But one of the interesting aspects about it is that you can actually make a substantial or a pretty, because VR is still kind of a growing industry. The amount of money that someone can win from the prize pool is pretty low, comparatively to something like Madden, which you can, if you win first place, you can win up to I want to say $1 million. So it's or even with something like Fortnite, if you hit the top tier and you win the tournament, you're essentially going to make $1 million, which is really amazing. It's really kind of an amazing phenomenon that we live in a world today where things like video games can allow you to win, and it's a combination of luck and skill. More than likely skill, where you just kind of beat the competition and then move your way to the top. But again, so with with something with something like tournaments as well, there are these opportunities where I'm a virtual reality enthusiast. My company's name is VR Story LLC. So obviously, I'm into virtual reality. I'm into technology, and I do try to participate in these type of events when I can. And I don't have a family or situations that could impede me from participating in these different events. But as an adult, there's a number of responsibilities that we do have to take care of that will take up time and resources and funding and things like that. But that's in no way an excuse why someone shouldn't do YouTube videos, or maybe we're not doing something as well as we should. I think just participating in this type of situation gives you a better idea of what it's like, and I really wanted to enter the tournament to see what the competition was like. I have fairly good rankings in the game itself, but like I said, I just kind of missed the deadline for entering the tournament there. And there's a lot of ways that we can express who we are, and there's a lot of ways to be able to generate revenue. And a really good example of this is that, so I travel quite often now to Ecuador, and part of the reason for that is because my girlfriend lives out there. But one of the points that I want to make, and I want to close with this because I think this is really important to just hear about. So in one spectrum, I'm I'm putting the effort to grow my channel, and It might not grow, and I'm okay with that. But the aim is to be able to grow this channel, and hopefully it can generate some revenue, because it is something that I want to do. And I can say to you that this is not the main focus. This is just I would say that this is actually a brand of my company that expresses kind of my personal views, and I it's a tool set. I believe it's a resource and tool set that the audience can use to help them with any types of goals that are related to either traveling, making income from alternative sources, more specifically for things like stocks, as well as cryptocurrencies, and in this instance alternatives like YouTube or Twitch, or any of those types of social media methods of generating revenue. And then C theories, because I tend to be a little bit skeptical about uh, things that are happening in the world. It's important to kind of open up that discussion, because it does impact situations that could affect not the financial advice as well as the travel log. However, getting back to really the conclusion of this commentary is that, so I go to Ecuador quite often, and one of the interesting uh, things that I found out from going to Ecuador is that there's several YouTube celebrities that actually live in the same city that I stay in with my girlfriend, and I'm talking like a person that has 4 million subscribers. And why do I bring this up? So I'm on one end, I'm one end of the spectrum, right? Small channel. And then on the other end, as an example, there's this person in this province of Ecuador called Santa Elena, excuse me, who is a successful YouTuber. And I want to say right now, this person's 18 years old and has over 4 million subscribers. It's a gaming channel. His gaming channel is actually pretty funny, well produced, and it's something that I want to say occurred over a period of time. So whether you're in the US or in a place like Ecuador, in a small town, as long as you have the means with, a small laptop, a small computer, maybe a Raspberry Pi, whatever it is, I believe that everyone should at least attempt to post something that you might be interested in. I have a buddy who does a YouTube channel on going to haunted places, and his channel is growing, and it's really an amazing gift to be able to have that opportunity that we have today, um, to be able to do that, with very little friction or very little obstacles to get in our way. When I was growing up, if you wanted to get into the entertainment industry, there were a lot of gatekeepers and barriers that you had to go through to be able to do that. There was requirements to be able to do that. Now it's just available to us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is there's really no excuse to do that or to wait if you have a certain interest in a particular topic, and you've been wanting to talk about these topics, whatever that may be. You have the ability to do that. And I believe that's one of the most important aspects. And maybe we can talk a little bit more about why this kind of encompasses a situation where C theories, or things that what we might be skeptical about, kind of play into stuff like this. So yeah, I just it's it, it's worth checking out and to see what it's all about. And I really believe that it's a really great way to introduce to people who you are, for better or for worse, right? Because obviously not everyone's going to agree with the opinions that I have and even the way that I present it. But this is who I am as a person. This is the top. These are the topics that I like talking about, whether it's in front of the camera on YouTube or when I'm in a kind of a discussion with friends and family or people who I just met. These are things that I'm into, and I'm happy to be able to do that, and I feel so grateful that I have the ability to do that. And if you ever considered it, it's not too difficult to start. It's pretty fun, and I believe that over the course of time, I've actually improved, and I want to continue to improve to be able to provide entertainment information. Like I said, that's going to be a great resource and tools for the audience of this channel. And that's all I have to say, guys. Thank you very much for joining me in this, quick commentary about alternative sources of income like YouTube and Twitch, and obviously there's other social media out there that you can utilize. But yeah, let's talk more. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a wonderful rest of the Labor Day weekend. If you happen to catch this video in a different time, that's totally okay. But thank you guys very much, and have a wonderful day.